Hey, what's going on, family? So I hope all is well. Today's topic, or super topic, is along the lines of being a humble leader. So, there's a, like, for me, I'm a natural leader, I guess. Not by choice, more just like people just seem to come to me and ask me for guidance or help or whatever. I don't have any problem stepping up to challenges, and I'm the type of person that I'd rather face adversity than to run away. And I even kind of go out of my way to solve things at times. So being that kind of person, I have a bit of confidence in myself, and people see that, and they usually draw to me in order to learn how to become more confident. That being said, it kind of poses a few problems because I've always been this way, which means that I've kind of worked out a lot of my weaknesses and learned from mistakes that, some people who attempt to emulate that, or even, just haven't been in situations where they had to learn. I'll give you an example. In the military, I was put in charge of some troops, and I had, for the most part, no problem with the entire group, mainly because they saw me as a leader. I respected the person who was the leader when I first got there, and they left, and they needed a new leader, and they went for me because I tried my best at everything I did. I took care of people, and I just always, applied my time in a positive way for those around me, as well as myself. I didn't just talk the talk, I walked the walk. I ended up getting a newer troop after like 3 or 4 months, and the newer troop, I don't know what it was about him, but whenever I asked him to like be on time somewhere or to contribute to the group, he just always gave resistance, but it was in a very passive way. He would just not participate. He wouldn't help clean up. He'd never be on time to formation, and it affected everybody. What I realized was that it was my approach that kind of suffered in all of this. I kept mulling it over and talking to him a different way, but what I failed to realize is that the entire, the rest of the group had already accepted me and appointed me as a leader. He hadn't. That guy didn't even know me. So he had no real, he hadn't learned, any form of respect or, mutual respect for me. So I learned to humble myself and ask him what he could do, or to even, get to a point where we would set out a timeline, or I'd give him tasks that worked with the speed that he moved. If he's the last one out, then he could be the one to mop the floor, because nobody's in there after, you mop. And once I had learned him, everything worked out just fine. I give that example in particular because I've been so caught up at that time. I've been caught up in my role as a leader, and I had not acknowledged the person I was talking to. And we have a tendency to do things like that with our friends, family, relationships, people you meet, and you expect these people to move a certain way based on what you need, and that's not fair, because that person may have no problem doing what you're asking them to do, but they may have a problem with the way that you're telling them to do it. You may even be asking them to do something, but just not really learning the person, and that there's a certain way everybody, likes to function. So, just in asking him what chore did he want to do, which task did he want to pick up, and even taking some reflection and looking into how consistent he was, adjusting what I expected out of him. You know, he wasn't necessarily one that had to change. I had to change, especially because I was the one that was supposed to be the leader. So that being said, I'm the one that has to be able to conform my leadership style to each individual person, not the other way around. So in that, as a leader, it's your job to humble yourself. It's your job to be flexible. It's your job to learn people and to learn how to speak to them, because everybody is completely different. You know, we ruin a lot of friendships and even relationships. You know, you can have two people that are very strong-willed and stubborn, and all it really takes is for one person to understand the other. Because a lot of times when I have a best friend, I'll give another example. If you tell him to do something, 10 times out of 10, he's not going to do it. But you could take that same task and get up and start on it and ask him for help, and 10 times out of 10, he'll get up and help you. He has absolutely no problem getting up and helping, but if you just throw a task on everything he already has on his plate, when he goes down his list of priorities, that thing that you asked him, you know, to do one time, he's not really going to think about. He's not, because he has more important things to do. Now, if you just so happen to be in the same area as him, then he has no problem getting up and helping you out. And that task that could have took you 30 minutes to an hour now just took 5 or 10 just because you had somebody else there to help. So you can be a leader and you can call yourself, you know, like the head honcho or whatever, but it really doesn't mean anything until you actually learn how to follow. Because when you think about how to follow, then you think about, what do you expect out of a leader? How do you expect them to approach you, to talk to you? How would you like for someone to approach you? Then as a leader, you grow because you begin to understand how to approach others. So that's just a couple of examples on humble leadership. Hopefully I'll come up with a better title than that. I hope everyone is having a great, awesome time transitioning into the winter. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. Love, peace, and chicken grease.